Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into the story of Zaskocz Mame, which means surprise mom. We're going to break down how finding your authentic voice isn't just some fluffy, feel-good advice. It can literally be the most powerful strategy you have for creating explosive word-of-mouth growth. So imagine this. This is what people in Kinga Kołodziejczak's small Polish town were whispering about her. She just walked away from a super secure corporate job to start a business that, honestly, nobody got. They just saw balloons and flowers. She saw something completely different, a revolution in the making. So how does that even happen? How does a respected professional with a safe career suddenly pivot to balloons and become the talk of the town, seemingly overnight? Well, this whole journey started with a simple idea that just wouldn't let go. Yeah, Kinga's business wasn't dreamed up in some fancy startup incubator. She actually called it her train child. It was an idea she worked on as a side hobby during her daily commute, just scribbling in notebooks and mapping out her plans between stations. And what's really fascinating here is that she didn't just pick a niche, she basically picked one that didn't even exist in Poland at the time. So her first huge challenge wasn't just selling her service, it was convincing a whole country that they even needed it in the first place. Okay, so her first crack at this, it didn't really go to plan. And it led her right into a classic trap that so many entrepreneurs fall into. She figured the fastest way to succeed was to just look exactly like everybody else who was already successful. Right. She scrolled through what was popular in the US and Australia and just decided to copy it, piece by piece. She thought, okay, that's the formula. That's the right way to build a brand. Even if deep down it didn't feel like her at all. And this slide just shows you everything. Look at the difference. On the left, you've got the copycat brand, this mommy bear logo, mint green colors, all kinds of plastic stuff. It feels really generic, kind of forced. But then look at the right, the authentic brand. A totally unique logo, these beautiful earth tones, real natural elements. The entire feeling just shifts from being a cheap copy to something with a soul. And Kinga learned this lesson the hard way. Trying to be a carbon copy of someone else doesn't actually make you successful. It just makes you a forgettable imitation. You're basically playing a game you're guaranteed to lose. So, this brings us to the big turning point, finding her real, authentic style. She's facing a failing business, she's feeling totally burnt out by this identity she's faking, so she decides to do something radical. She decides to risk it all. She was just off maternity leave. Her business was basically on life support, and she took every last bit of her savings. And get this, in secret, she invested every single penny into a complete rebrand. It was a total all-or-nothing bet on herself. And this whole transformation, it wasn't just a whim. It was a really smart three-step pivot. First, she had the realization, admitting to herself, okay, this copycat thing isn't working. Step 2 was the rebranding, putting her money where her heart was, into an identity that was truly her. And finally, step 3 was taking bold action, throwing this huge event to show her new vision to the world. And guess what? The bet paid off. Big time. The event was a massive hit. The feedback was just incredible, and it gave her all the proof she needed. The market wasn't just okay with her unique nature-inspired style. Turns out they were absolutely starving for it. But, fixing the look and feel of the brand was really only half the battle. Now she had to deal with the social side of things, building this unconventional business in her small, very tight-knit community. Yeah, back home, her business was pretty much dead on arrival. The gossip, the ridicule, it was nonstop. People called her an exotic bird doing something weird and pointless. It's kind of crazy, but it wasn't until the rest of the country started noticing her that her own town finally started to show her some respect. This quote right here, this captures the huge mindset shift that let her keep going. She realized all that criticism, it wasn't really a judgment of her work's value. It was just a reflection of the critic's own insecurities. And once she understood that, it was like a shield. So, you're probably wondering, how did this exotic bird from a small town suddenly get the whole country's attention? Well, it all kicked off with one single, genuine recommendation that was basically like throwing a lit match into a tinderbox. So, this wasn't some paid ad or a sales pitch she sent out. A super popular influencer just asked her audience for help. And boom, dozens of Kinga's actual happy clients flooded the comments, all tagging Zaskocz Mama. I mean, that's organic marketing at its absolute best. Now, Kinga jumped on that opportunity, and put on an absolutely wow event for the influencer. And the result? It was explosive. In a single day, that one authentic shout-out brought Kinga 7,000 new, totally engaged followers. And from there, it just set off this incredible domino effect. After that first event, other huge influencers and celebrities started calling, one after the other. It was a chain reaction, all started by one piece of great work being shared honestly. So here's the real key. That viral moment, it wasn't just luck. It was the totally predictable result of her delivering exceptional, unforgettable, high-quality work over and over again. When you do that, your work becomes your best and most powerful marketing tool. So, what are the big lessons we can pull from Kinga's journey? After seeing her go from a copycat to this word-of-mouth powerhouse, what can we learn about building a brand that actually stands out? Well, the lessons are pretty clear. First off, your uniqueness is your number one asset, so don't you dare hide it. And please, never compete by imitation. Instead, just pour all your energy into doing amazing work, because that will become your best marketing. And remember, while you can always learn business strategy, your authentic style, that's something you have to find within yourself. And this, right here, gets to the heart of her entire philosophy. Business tactics, marketing funnels, you can learn all that from a course. But your style, your unique point of view, that has to be discovered. Sure, you can fake it for a little while, but real, lasting success is always built on what's true. And that really just leaves us with one last powerful question to think about. Kinga found her style by trusting her gut, even when literally no one else got it. So, what's yours? Thanks for tuning in to This Explainer.